All right, guys, what is up? It is day 2 of the SR pull apart, rebuild, refresh, and Alberto is here. Alberto, what do you think? Did I do an okay job pulling the engine?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm surprised.
I kind of surprised myself too.
Watching my videos or something, I'm trying to do that.
Well, I mean, the funny thing about it is I could probably go back and watch like any of our videos pulling the SR and learn from that, but I only made 2 mistakes.
They were?
Well, I already told you, so you already know.
Also,
You just want me to repeat my mistakes so you can laugh at me, huh?
You shock yourself when
Well,
I'm not disconnecting the battery.
I made some sparks, you know.
I'm surprised you actually did took the shifter out and all. We're like, oh, that doesn't come out, or didn't forget to like take out the ground or something and still like strapped in.
I mean, I did take it out a little too soon, so the car was stuck in gear when I was doing the drive shaft bolts, but I remember to take it out. So we are going to start pulling apart the SR, and what are you particularly going to be looking for on this to find indications of all the blow-by and smoke that my engine was making?
It's mainly the piston life, like see how they look like after we take the head off. Also, we're going to be looking at the condition of the valves and then the condition of the bearings. That's all pretty much the basic things that you need to look for engine wear after beating on it so much.
So is there any way that we'll be able to physically see if the valve seals are bad, or is that something that you have to test with like water or something to see if it leaks?
You can see them. Mostly it's easier to see them once you are about to remove them. Sometimes you can see through the valve spring and you can see they look like it has this little spring that holds it in. Something that comes off or it's like all like stretched out. I mean, running really high engine temperatures for a long time does deteriorate the valve seals quickly. So, I don't know. That's what we gotta use the Viking ones too.
I feel like in addition, I don't know if I told you guys this, but I'm gonna start running an oil cooler. I've never run an oil cooler and I hot lap my car quite a bit. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw some crazy oil temps, and that's probably why I'm cooking my oil all the time. So I think it would be a good idea to maybe get some sort of oil temp gauge.
We'll see how the engine looks on the inside. It's like caramelized and you were cooking your oil. If not, the oil is good.
Cool, let's do it. I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting it to look a little more cakey in there. It looks pretty clean.
It does.
I mean, I did just do an oil change pretty recently, so that probably helps, but... Any scoring on the cams? They look pretty good.
That looks good.
Cool. This right here is the current timing chain tensioner that I have on my car, and I'm gonna be switching to a solid one. Alberto just explained to me like what the advantage is. I know that it's obviously better, but this is hydraulic, and why is this bad, Alberto? You wanna show them?
Well, the hydraulic one relies on oil pressure to push the piston out and put tension on the chain. Right now, I don't have the tensioner on, so you can see the slack on the chain. With the hydraulic one, you run the risk of not having enough pressure, whatever, and then the timing chain not be as tight as it should be. With a solid one, you set the timing chain tension to one specific point, and it's always like has the right tension on it. If you lose tension on it, it can like have a little slack, and then the cam will like move back and forward a little bit, so your timing won't be set exactly right. With the solid one, you have an advantage to have more precise timing control on your engine and have a better, you can tune it better. That will always be the same.
Do you think that there's a possibility that my timing was a little all over the place currently?
Well, that doesn't really affect it that much with just a tensioner. What it does is why you need to adjust the degree, because you have the keyway here and the cam is grounded to a certain profile, and the profile that it's grounded to is like not clocked correctly as a factory one, so you have to degree the cam so you have the valve opening and closing at the right time.
Alberto and I are gonna have a little space race. He hates these little wrenches. He likes his fancy snap-on room. Zips.
Exhaust all the intake.
Okay, yeah, you're gonna beat me so fast.
Don't take them off all the way.
Just loosen them
Little.
Uh-huh.
Then go over again.
Okay. You think you're so cool. You think you're so cool, Alberto. This isn't NASCAR, okay? Stop it! Not fair. I feel like I'm driving around in a Kia and you just pulled out the Bugatti car. I think my battery just ran out. So we'll just use the magnet and pull the shims out. Do you want me to pull them out and then I'll hand them to you so you can label them?
We got a Sharpie.
There should be one out here already. All right, so Alberto's marking down on a piece of paper which one goes to which. So we're gonna do the intake valves starting on the back of the engine. So you can just take a magnet. I thought we could just take a magnet and pull them out. Why don't they want to come out, Alberto?
What? Is it not grabbing it?
Is it not strong enough?
This magnet like...
Huh. Oh, you have to like hit it, I guess.
Yeah, you like tap it because the oil like sucks it in. So, I always wonder what this thing could be used for, and I think I finally found what, to remove the lifters on this. Let's see if I can like grab it. No!
It's probably not strong enough. No, look at that.
Yes, but we need like something to put this on. It's all drippy.
With a quick inspection of the plugs, you can see for whatever reason cylinder 3 was running pretty rich. And then you said cylinder 4 looked a little lean? It kind of looks the same as 2,
leaner.
no?
You should be looking at like brownie stuff like this. This one looks okay. Focus. This one is kind of okay too, but this one's like noticeable richer than the rest.
Why do you think that would be?
I don't know, we're gonna find out. Maybe that one has less compression or something.
I do think cylinder 3 has always been the issue.
Break it loose first. Lift up.
That was easy. Yay, the fun part.
It's like a lot of oil in the pistons. Like a lot.
So it's not all in my head. Like my biggest fear about doing this, Alberto, was that nothing was actually wrong with my engine this whole time, and that it was all in my head or something dumb like a bad turbo.
Nah. So this.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Alberto, but the way that oil gets on top of the piston, these rings that go around and come in contact with the piston and the lining of the cylinder, oil gets by them and then it sits on top of the cylinder.
Yes.
It also gets in my catch can and comes out of my exhaust, but this buildup is kind of an indicator of that.
Exactly.
And it seems like they all have it.
As I said, all being shiny, that's why your car smoking is burning on that oil up.
Gotcha. And another thing too, as I mentioned before, it probably the main reason why this did this so early. A lot of times when people rebuild an engine, what they'll commonly do is use a 0.5 millimeter bigger and they'll have the block machined. We were kind of doing everything fast and we didn't do that, but if we did that, this gap probably would have been a little bit tighter and we probably would have less blow by on top.
Yeah, right now you can see the cylinder are looking really shiny. So probably it's at the point where like a little bit glazed, so then the rings don't really like seat very well, and they're just like, so oil can seep through between the rings and the cylinder walls. This right here is not looking so good. It looks like either water was getting past the firing and making its way into the cylinder, or knocking on that corner there. I should ask Martin what he thinks about that.
So, wait, how is this happening? The cylinder is hitting it?
It can happen from either knocking and it's melting this part right here, or sometimes I've seen that happen when water goes through the water jacket into the cylinder and it just like messes this up from the water getting in.
Oh crap, that's not the head gasket either, that's my actual block.
That's the block, yes.
Yikes.
It looks like the exhaust valves on cylinder 4 are not sealing properly. You can see they're all like white around it.
Alberto also noticed we have some of that same, he calls it lava rock, around the cylinders. So does that mean we'll have to have the head machine too? Or is the stuff on the head okay?
It will have to be machined, and we gotta get that off, because the problem when you have like sharp edges like that, it will cause further detonation and carbon buildup there. If you have that much carbon buildup, it can glow and cause detonation too.
So does that mean we're gonna have to disassemble the whole head?
No. We just take it like it is right now.
Gotcha.
They just put it back on, they surface it. Then we have to clean it up real good.
This cylinder was running probably the richest, and it's probably the reason why it doesn't have as much detonation issues on the edge of the cylinder. Alberto's explaining to me that those little marks are kind of like cavities, and when you have them, if you can't get the machine all the way gone, it's going to keep happening. So we're left with a couple different options. We could obviously have this machine enough to get rid of it, but then we're going to have to do pretty big pistons, and that's still like, you think they'd have to be at least over 1 millimeter, which would be huge.
Yeah, I think that's like over 1 millimeter deep. So
just on one side, so it'd need to be 2 mils over.
Yeah, but I don't think they make pistons that big for this thing, do they?
I don't know.
The stock sleeve, or at least they don't.
I don't know. So yeah, we could sleeve the block, but that's expensive, and then we're gonna have to take it to a different machine shop, and it's probably gonna take a really long time. So I'll probably just end up trying to find another block locally, and then have that one machined. I think that's the smartest option.
True, it's the cheapest too.
So we can continue disassembling this and see what else we can find, see if there's anything else. We have to figure out why some of these cylinders are running lean and why some of them are running rich. Alberto thinks that maybe it's something to do with injectors, maybe I had some crap in my fuel lines and one of them was flowing differently, or maybe something with the valve train. I really don't know, but it's important to figure out what's wrong so we don't go put together another engine and still have some cylinders running lean and some running rich. It sounds kind of dumb, but I'm honestly really happy that something's actually wrong with the engine, because my biggest fear with this was that we're gonna take the whole thing apart and nothing was really wrong and it was all in my head, or it was just like, I think I already said this, but I'm just really, really happy that something's actually wrong with it, because now I know when we rebuild it and fix it, it's actually gonna be better and worth the effort. Why do you think it's so funny?
I told you I'm not crazy! I'm making this up!
Really? It's like taking your car to the mechanic when it's making a funny little squeaky noise and it's actually making a squeaky noise when you bring it there, you know?
Oh my god, that's almost like you at the truck, which I'm not gonna say what it was because it's on the video, but...
The what? The broken transmission? That was yesterday's video. They already know. We found a couple little metal pieces in the oil pan. What? Is it metal?
Yeah, it's like...
I noticed too, I don't know what this thing's called, Alberto, but it looks like when we flip the engine, there's some metal pieces chilling in the mesh too. You guys might remember the famous kangaroo that we always mention whenever we have the SR part. I think from YouTube comments we've come to the conclusion that Australia just manufactured some of the parts for the SR, and that's why there's a kangaroo on the bottom of your engine. Alberto, what just happened? That's...
How? That's not supposed to happen. I just took the bolts out of the rod cap, and the whole piston, I mean, it was on bottom dead center, so it was all the way in the cylinder, and it just whoop, it just fell off. Like there's no friction with the piston and the cylinder walls. I think that's why you were probably burning so much oil.
Well, that makes sense.
Never happens. Like, how does that even happen?
Well, if you want me to be super mechanical and explain to you how that happens, you see, as the piston moves up the cylinder, it doesn't go straight up and down. It kind of wiggles a little bit. And over time, on an old engine like this, it'll actually ovalize the cylinder a little bit. And because we didn't machine it and we just did a light hone by hand, the rings didn't seal as well.
Really loose there.
Wait, all jokes aside though, was that right? Did that make sense?
Yeah, but it doesn't wear that much in that little bit of time.
So why did that do that then?
I don't know.
Is it like damaged now because it fell?
No, it didn't like ding it or anything. It's good. But that is really loose there. That's like, oh my god, no wonder you're burning all that oil because it's stuck. Not really like touching right. Oh, wait. I see one of the reasons you're burning oil.
What? Hold on. Is that called a cracked ring?
It's also broken there too. Another section.
Is that called a cracked ringland?
No, not ringland. You actually have broken piston ring. What the hell?
I only said that because I hear Subaru people say that all the time. So what causes a broken piston ring? You don't think that just broke when it fell, right?
No.
That's so weird. Was that cylinder 1?
They say cylinder 1 is.
And cylinder 1 wasn't even that bad.
Well, that's the one that had the worst knocking problem.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
So do you think the knocking was caused by the lack of piston ring, or the knocking caused the broken piston ring?
No, that caused the piston ring breaking.
Dang. If I was still on stock pistons, instead of just cracking that ring, or breaking it I should say, I probably would have just broken the piston.
Like I did when I had stock pistons, it just broke immediately.
Anything else we should point out on these, Alberto?
Well, this one had the broken piston rings. You can see it's broken in 3 pieces, but this is the one that had the most deformation or detonation thingy. Cavitation, that's the word I'm looking at. It had the most cavitation in cylinder 1, so it was knocking the most. It knocked so bad that it even broke the top piston ring.
I spoke to Martin from Ars Enthalpy that tunes my car, and we both agreed that it's most likely from that event I did, I think at Canaan. I don't know if I ever talked about it in a video, but there was a local gas station down the road. I'm pretty sure their gas is just stale and like it wasn't very good, because I did notice in the video, mostly because of you guys noticing in the video, you can hear just a little bit of pinging. And if this was like a persistent issue, like my car was consistently having these detonation issues, it would have blown up like a long time ago. So it was likely that one event that did the damage, and then I've been running the car in its condition since then.
Yo, even like show it like all on the bottom here, between the top of the piston and the piston ring, you can see all those little indentations. That's all detonation there too.
Really?
So it's like really bad stuff happening there.
Surprising that she lasted so long though. I'm thinking, Alberto, maybe we should just throw it in the trash and go RB. What do you think of that?
No.
So it's sounding like the best option is probably actually to do sleeves. I didn't realize that the machine shop we go to can do sleeves as well. It's just a matter of if they have them in stock or not. I know a place does have them in stock size, and we can actually have that board to 90 mil. So we could do an SR22.
Yeah, it's a good option. 90 mil pistons and stock stroke. That means you can still rev to 8,000 RPMs.
That would be sick. And I've always wanted an SR22. I just thought it was super expensive.
Well, you're gonna need a bigger turbo for that.
Wait, but if it's so easy, why don't more people do it?
Money.
Wait, but I thought the expensive way to do it's the stroker kit, right?
It's more expensive, yes, but
so then why doesn't everyone just do the sleeved way?
A lot of people don't just sleeve block because it's expensive.
Got it.
Well, let's see how much it costs. Let's see how much
the way that I'm looking at it, it's going to cost the same amount to do the sleeves and bigger pistons than it would for me to buy another block and use the pistons that I already bought and have it machined. Like it's all the same price, so why not do a 22, right? Yeah. Oh, I'm stoked now. This bad day is turning into a good day. But I'm gonna have to run a bigger turbo because it's gonna be too tiny.
Yes, big turbo. You need bigger turbo.
No. Bigger, not big. Mr. Big Boost.
Yeah, you need a big boost.
I don't want to be.
You need some of that.
I'm so excited about this. I'm so excited. SR22, which means I can go a little bit bigger turbo, which means I can finally do an aftermarket intake manifold because I won't be struggling for torque. I'm stoked. I'm stoked.
Oh my god, just picturing somebody in my head.
What?
You sound like somebody I know.
Who?
You sound like Emilia in her videos.
Oh. That sounded derogatory. I don't have anything against her. Let me just put it that way.
No, it's just hilarious.
Okay.
She's always like super excited about stuff, so you sound as excited as her in the videos.
Well,
which is a good thing. I wish I was that excited.
Well, this turned into like a very bad day that turned into a very good day. So, thank you, sir.
This is great.
I just hope we can get all the parts in time. That's my only concern.
This is so hard. No.
All right, one of those will work. Thank you.
I'm like, because you told me to push a camshaft forward, so I'm holding it like this, like so heavy like this.
That was a good workout.
I start shaking. Here, hold it forward, see if you can do it. But also, being on my knees makes it even harder because my center of gravity is harder too.
Organization skills aren't the best, but this is pretty much the power plant of my car, just chilling up here. And then over here we have all the parts laid out from the internals of the engine, just in little piles, so you can kind of figure out what goes where. And
containers, we need containers.
Yeah, we do. I don't think Nicole would be too hyped if I got her nice ones all oily. I can say I'm definitely glad I resisted the urge to start disassembling the engine myself, because I probably would have missed a lot of that stuff. Yes, it's a little bit more complicated of a process now, but I think overall I'm going to be the most happy because it's almost the best of both worlds. I get a little bit torquier motor without having to go over to a JZ and have all that weight. Alberto, thank you for coming over and helping.
Yeah, no problem.
Much appreciated. Alberto has plenty of like detailed engine specific videos, so if you want to check out his channel, he's been doing a lot with his E36. Is it a S50? Or is it M50?
It was a S52, now it's a M52 stroked to 3 liters, so it's basically like a S50.
Gotcha. I don't really know much about BMW engines, but if I wanted to learn, I could watch Alberto's channel. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you guys for watching. If you are stoked on what's going to happen to this car, make sure you smash the like button. Leave some comments if you have any feedback. I might be able to get away with like a dope intake manifold now that I don't have to worry about squeezing every inch of torque I can out of a baby SR. So, sweet, stoked. See you tomorrow. Bye. Happy New Year, by the way. Bye. Oh wait, should I continue the video with New Year's? I could do that. I don't have to end it here. I'm gonna keep filming. I don't know if I'll add it or not, or if it'll be in tomorrow's video. We'll see.